So with all the Bible translations that are out there, which translation should you use? We're going to talk about that today, so let's go. What's up everyone, welcome to the Puzzle Piece Exegete. My name is Steven Rodriguez, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss any content. So what Bible translation should you use? I mean, this really is a great question, but before I tackle that though, I actually want to take a step back and want to ask why, right? Why do we have Bible translations? Well, the Bible was originally written in three languages, right? We have Hebrew and a little bit of Aramaic for the Old Testament, and we have Greek in the New Testament. And that's what we call our source language. And we do a translation. We go from our source language to our receptor language. So we go from our Greek, which is our source language, to our English translation, which is called our receptor language. And when Bibles are translated, there's two main methodologies or ways that Bibles are translated. The first is called formal equivalence. I'm going to put this on the screen here. Formal equivalence. It's your more word for word or your more literal translations. And on the other side of the spectrum is your more thought for thought. It's what's called functional equivalence, where formal equivalence tries to adhere to the actual form of the Hebrew or the Greek as close or as literal as possible. The functional equivalence tries to grab the actual meaning or the thought of the actual particular passage. And in the middle are often what's called mediating views. They have a healthy balance of actually both, right? They have formal equivalence and functional equivalence in particular cases. And so that's your NIVs or your NETs. And so the question we ask is, what Bible translation should you use? And I think the better question is, what are you trying to accomplish when you read the scriptures? Because if you're trying to read large sections of scripture, like let's say the whole book of Mark in one sitting, which I would recommend reading a whole book in it so you can gather its context, I might pull out my NLT or my New Living Translation. I love the NLT for the way that it actually translates, the meaning of the particular passage of the Hebrew and the Greek. So if I'm doing large sections, I might bring out an NLT. If I'm wanting to do my daily reading, or my memorization of scripture, it's probably best to have a mediating view or an NIV, an NET, or even an ESV. Even though ESV is on the more literal side of the spectrum, this is my daily reader. This is my translation I use for actually memorization of scripture, right? But if I'm trying to do like a word study or a theme study, if I want to see what's more literal to the Hebrew and the Greek, then I'm going to bring out my New American Standard or my NASB. There are actually a new translations coming out in 2021 of this. I'm pretty excited to see. But this is the most literal translation that we have from the Hebrew or Greek to the English. And often it's given the moniker wooden translation because it can be kind of clunky because they're trying to adhere, again, as close as they can to the form of the text. And one of my other favorite translation as part of that mediating view next to the NIV is the NET. It's the New English Translation. What I love this translation for a variety of reasons, but one of the reasons is it gives over 60,000, you heard me right, 60,000 footnotes on reasons why they took a particular translation. Because we have to understand, every translation is an interpretation. I'm going to say that again. Every translation is an interpretation, which is why it's important for us to read as many translations as we can to get a full breadth of the conversation. So it's good for us to have more literal translations, for us to have mediating translations, and for us to have more functional or thought-for-thought translations. So what translation do you like to use, right? Drop a comment. What's your favorite? Why is it your favorite, Or maybe you want me to do a video on the history of a particular translation. I would love to do that. So make sure to drop a comment and a like. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future contents like this and much more. So till next time, guys, keeping those pieces together. God bless.